Hey, Jacoby is Lost here, and this is Grand Theft Auto Online for the PlayStation 4, or on the PlayStation 4. I mean, it's not exclusive for the PlayStation 4. But anyway, so yeah, doing a little, we gotta go steal the meth here, and unfortunately, I thought my car was gonna start next to me, but I was wrong. I was mistaken. But anyway, I like that, some have answered the questions that I ask in my videos. I appreciate that. That's awesome. And others haven't, but that's fine. It's okay. You've watched and maybe you just don't want to answer, or maybe you can't answer because for whatever reason, maybe you don't have a Google Plus account, which believe me, I didn't want to make one either, so it's understandable. But anyway, oh, hey, I know which one this is. I had forgotten what mission I was about to do. But I remember now. Okay. Anyway, so my next question to ask, because I like getting feedback, just to, it's interesting to see, for some of the answers, or, well, some of the questions, to see what some of your answers are. It's really interesting to see that. So, my next question is, what game have you played? Because, I mean, obviously, it's a gaming channel, so I'm going to ask you about games, but eventually I'm going to ask you about other things as well. But I'm curious as to what game have you played that you really enjoy, but maybe you have friends who don't like the game, and so they, maybe criticize you for playing the game that they think is crappy or bad, or for whatever they may call it. Or maybe the game received bad reviews. The reason why I'm asking is because, well, there's some games that have come out, and I myself just can't get into them because I don't, for whatever reason. What comes to mind right now is Final Fantasy 13, and I have a friend who, she really enjoyed the game, and I couldn't ever get into it. I really wanted to play it, and I really wanted to enjoy it, and I was super excited for the game when it was going to come out. When they were announcing Final Fantasy 13 along with the other Fabula, the Crystallis thing, because there's Versus 13, and which is now Final Fantasy 15. But anyway, yeah, so I was really excited for Final Fantasy 13, and then it came out, which I know this is an old game now. Don't get me wrong, I know, but I'm just using it for example, that it's not, in my opinion, I don't like it. And I tried to get into it, I still own the game. I try to get back into it, and I just can't. I mean, well, so anyway, my question that I'm asking is, what game do you enjoy that, maybe a reviewer or IGN or something, they gave it a bad review? And I'm not necessarily saying they did that for 13, but, that's my question is, what game do you enjoy that is, I guess, maybe in a way universally or generally considered a bad game, but yet you still enjoy it? Because, I mean, that's what games are about, If you enjoy the game, play the game, I mean, don't worry about what people have to say about it. If you enjoy it, then play it, That's kind of what I was, leaning towards, is that even if, a game is seen as not a good game because whatever, maybe it doesn't have good game mechanics, or maybe the story isn't there, Destiny. But, yeah, so, I mean, just for example, Destiny, there's not much of a story there. It's there. Don't get me wrong. Yeah, you can read the Grimoire cards, but, I mean, you have to go out of the game to go see that and delve more into it. And don't get me wrong, I mean, there's still some there, but there's not a lot, It's like getting a hamburger and, you see that half the meat is missing, and you're like, so where's the rest of the game? Anyway, so yeah, that's my question to you. Do you, oh, I'm getting a little distracted here, but yeah, in Final Fantasy 13, going back on that real quick, I kind of went off of it for a moment, but, I really wished that it had been a little more. It's just, if you haven't played it, then long story short is that it's a very linear Final Fantasy game. There is some little pathways that branch off, you don't necessarily have to completely follow the story, but for most of the time you just do nothing but follow the story. And I don't know, I just didn't enjoy my time with it, and I wish I was able to. I try to go back from from time to time to go and play it. I just can't get into it. And another thing, because I played it on the Xbox 360, just to bring it up, but for nostalgic purposes, I liked that the Xbox 360 version of Final Fantasy 13 actually came with 3 discs. And that's something I like about it, even though people would argue and be like, well, it's just because the Xbox didn't have enough memory for their disc. And that is what it is, because obviously there's not multiple discs for the PlayStation 3 version, but I liked it for nostalgic purposes because I missed whenever I was playing a Final Fantasy game on the PlayStation 1, and it would be like, oh, please put in disc 2. And I'm like, oh, that was just such a nice feeling. And even though it was also kind of a little, made me feel very nervous, because it's like, what if I accidentally bump it and then it messes up, and then it corrupts my file because it just saved it, and it's like it messes it up. But anyway, that's my question to you. What game do you enjoy that maybe your friends or, reviewers said is a bad game, but you find it still fun to play? But anyways, I hope you're having a good day or night, depending on when you watch this. And as always, thanks for watching.